Yo, what's up everyone? Today I'm going to be ranking all of the NBA starting point guards alongside Riverside mixes. I'll be ranking the Eastern Conference point guards and he'll be ranking the Western Conference. Before we start, I want to make a note of two things. First, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel as well as Riverside's. His link is in the description. Along with this, Riverside and I started a brand new podcast and our first episode should be out next week. Be sure to subscribe to it. Link is in the description. Second off, for this ranking, we will be using the point guards that are currently starting for their teams. So for example, the Magic would typically start Markelle Fultz, but because he is injured, we're using the point guard they have been using in their starting lineup. With that out of the way, let's get started with the video. One final note before we start actually. This video was recorded before a few changes happened, such as LaMelo's injury and Coby White coming off the bench, so just have that in mind. Coming in at number 15, we have Michael Carter-Williams for the Orlando Magic. Now, as I just mentioned, he isn't the original starting point guard, but he has been serviceable in Fultz's place. Williams is averaging roughly 9 points, 4 assists, and 5 rebounds per game. He's shooting 40% from the field and 26% from 3, which is not something you want out of your starting point guard. Despite this, it is good to see him average his highest minutes per game since 2015 back when he was with Milwaukee. If Fultz was healthy, I would have ranked him a few spots higher, but for now, the Magic are rolling with Carter-Williams as I have him at my number 15 spot. Coming in at number 14, we have Dennis Smith Jr. of the Detroit Pistons. Smith started off his career with the Dallas Mavericks where he was given his most playing time, but he was then traded to the Knicks as part of the Kristaps Porzingis deal. As time went on with the Knicks, Smith saw his minutes fade as it got to a point where he actually requested to play in the G League. Soon after this, he was picked up by Detroit in a trade that sent Derrick Rose to the Knicks. Smith has recently been starting for the Pistons and has been flashing some of his potential. He's averaging about 8 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds a game, and even recorded a triple-double in his 6th start. Now, Delon Wright had been starting before he got injured, but I figured I would throw Smith in these rankings since he's finally getting a chance to play again. If I were to rank Wright among these point guards, he would fall right around this spot, if not, then a spot or two higher. Coming in at number 13, we have Elfrid Payton of the New York Knicks. Personally, I would like to see the Knicks give the starting job to Derrick Rose or even Immanuel Quickley, but New York has been playing some of their best basketball over the last few years this season, with Payton as the primary starter, and you can't take that away from him. This season, Payton has been averaging 12.7 points, which is just shy of a career high. Along with this, he's putting up just 4 rebounds and 4 assists a night while shooting 44% from the field and 25% from 3 on just 1.8 3-point attempts per game. Coming in at number 12, we have Kendrick Nunn of the Miami Heat. As an undrafted rookie, Nunn has fared quite well in the NBA thus far. Nunn has been getting consistent minutes as a starter in the regular season, although he did see his playing time drop off almost completely in the playoffs last year with Goran Dragic playing well. Now, I don't watch too many Heat games. In fact, the most I've watched them is when they sadly knocked my Celtics out of the playoffs last season. But I do feel as though Dragic could be almost interchangeable with Nunn in terms of who starts and who is the sixth man. Despite this, I think the Heat are better off with Dragic on the floor when the game is on the line. For this season though, Nunn has been balling as he is averaging 14.2 points, just under 3 assists, and about 3.5 rebounds per game. His shooting splits are also pretty good, as he shoots 46% from the field, 36.5% from 3, and 92% from the free throw line. With Nunn being ranked all the way down here at number 13, it goes to show just how stacked the NBA is at the point guard position. Coming in just above Nunn at number 11, we have Coby White of the Chicago Bulls. With the departure of Kris Dunn in the offseason and Satoransky coming off the bench, White has taken over as the everyday starter. In his second season, White is averaging 16 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds a game while shooting 42% from the field and 35% from 3. I was debating putting Nunn in front of White, but I see White as an ever so slightly better player. Him and Zach LaVine are going to be a lethal offensive backcourt in the East for years to come. For the first player in the top 10, we have LaMelo Ball. Coming into the league drafted as a top 3 pick, Ball had some high expectations placed on him, and I believe he has lived up to the hype thus far. LaMelo is a big reason the Hornets are right on the fringe of being a playoff team this season. He's averaging 15.8 points, 6 rebounds, and a little over 6 assists a night. He's putting up these numbers on good efficiency too, shooting 45% from the field and nearly 38% from 3 on over 5 3-point attempts a game. On top of all this, Ball has been a contributor on the defensive end as well, putting up 1.6 steals a game. If LaMelo continues to play how he has been, the Hornets have a very bright future ahead of them. Coming in at our number 9 spot, we have Collin Sexton. Sexton has been a bright spot on a Cavs team that has been disappointing since LeBron left. I know sometimes it varies from night to night as to who is listed as a starting point guard, Sexton or Garland, but I decided to use Sexton for this ranking. Collin Sexton has been a beast this season and has had some monster games. In one game, for example, he led the Cavs past the Brooklyn Nets in a double overtime game in which he scored 42 points. Sexton has averaged 24 points, 4.5 assists, and 2.5 rebounds a game while shooting with amazing efficiency. He is shooting just below 49% from the field while shooting 40% from the three-point line. If the Cavaliers can build around Sexton, they should see some success in the near future. At number 8 in my ranking, I have Kemba Walker of the Boston Celtics. Kemba has had an up-and-down season thus far. Over the past year specifically, he has been dealing with knee injuries, which has set him back a bit at times. He hasn't really been playing back-to-backs and was placed on minute restrictions for some games as well. When he came back to play in mid-January, he didn't look like the Kemba Walker we were used to watching. Kemba is averaging 18.5 points a game with roughly 4.5 assists and 3.5 rebounds. He is shooting a mere 39% from the field and 36.6% from 3 while remaining one of the best free throw shooters in the league at 91.4%. Despite these low shooting percentages, Kemba has seemed to have gotten his shot back over the Celtics' last few games and looks to help lead them back to the very top of the East. Coming in at number 7, we have Malcolm Brogdon of the Indiana Pacers. Milwaukee should have never let this guy go as he is enjoying his best season to date. Brogdon is putting up 21.2 points a game, which is a career high, to go along with an average of 6.2 assists and 4.6 rebounds. Brogdon is putting up these numbers on roughly 45% shooting from the field and 38% from 3. Brogdon and Sabonis have been an underrated duo in the NBA this season, as many consider Brogdon to be a fringe all-star this season. Coming in just outside the top 5 of my list is Jrue Holiday. Holiday was traded to the Bucks before the season and has been playing well. Holiday is known as one of the best defensive players in the NBA and can also get you a bucket on the offensive side as well. Jrue is averaging 15.3 points, 5.1 assists, and 4.3 rebounds a game while shooting a very efficient 49% from the field and 36.4% from 3. To go along with this, Holiday is nearly averaging 2 steals a game as he hopes to be the player that can help push the Bucks over the hump and get them to the finals. Starting off our top 5 point guards in the Eastern Conference is Kyle Lowry of the Toronto Raptors. Despite recently being in some trade rumors that were refuted by Lowry himself, Lowry has been a mainstay in Toronto for years and was a big contributor in their playoff run when they won the finals in 2019. Lowry is the type of player that everyone wants in their team, just a great all-around hustler and leader. This season, Lowry is putting up 18 points, 7 assists, and 5.5 rebounds a game while shooting roughly 46% from the field and 40% from 3. Lowry looks to get the Raptors back on track fully and ensure they make the playoffs. Coming in at number 4 in my ranking is Russell Westbrook from the Washington Wizards. Russ was sent over to the Wizards during the offseason in a deal that sent John Wall back to Houston. What I've noticed with Westbrook is that NBA fans have a love-hate relationship with him. You have the group of people who still view him as a mega superstar, and you also have the people that say he has no value to his team and that his numbers mean nothing because he's quote-unquote stat padding. Personally, I still think Russ is a beast. He's one of my favorite players in the entire league, and I believe he's a top 30 player when fully healthy. The Wizards got off to a very slow start this season, but through Russ and Beal, they have crawled their way back as they now sit just a few games back from a playoff spot. This season, Westbrook has been averaging about 20 points, 10 assists, and 10 rebounds a game to go along with the steal. He's putting up these numbers while shooting 43% from the field and 29.5% from 3. Russ looks to continue to prove his haters wrong and get the Wizards into the playoffs. Beginning our top 3 in this ranking is Trae Young. Trae Young is one of the best offensive players in the game between his ability to drive, shoot, and play make. Defensively, he can't guard a rock, but he can give you almost 30 points on any given night. This season, Trae has put up 26.4 points, 9.4 assists, and 4 rebounds a game while shooting 43% from the field and a career-high 37.8% from 3. Playing for the Hawks, Young is another one of those players with a team on the fringe of making the playoffs. If the Hawks are to squeeze into the playoffs this year, it will be on the back of Trae Young. Coming in at number 2 in my ranking, we have Ben Simmons of the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, Simmons always gets picked on because he doesn't have a jump shot, which can take a lot away from someone's game. Despite this, Simmons has done everything else extremely well. He's easily a Defensive Player of the Year candidate thus far, and is a big reason as to why the 76ers are the first seed. Simmons is averaging about 16 points, 8 assists, and 8 rebounds a game while playing phenomenal defense. I can only imagine how good Simmons would be if he added a jump shot to his arsenal. You may have guessed this from the start, but coming in at number 1, the best point guard in the Eastern Conference is Kyrie Irving. Irving has been on a tear this year, and it may just be his best season yet. I think he does benefit playing alongside Kevin Durant and James Harden because all the defensive attention doesn't have to be placed on him, even when it should be. Kyrie has helped lead the Nets to a top playoff spot this far as they sit just a half game out of the first seed. This season, Irving is averaging a near career-high 27.2 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds, all with great efficiency. He's shooting 51% from the field, 41% from 3, and 89% from the free throw line. Kyrie and the Nets definitely have finals aspirations, and with these numbers, they can go anywhere. And now, for the second half of this video, Riverside will be revealing his ranking of the starting point guards in the Western Conference.
Number 15, I have Ricky Rubio. While he's not getting any younger, he's just not that bad of a player, but the options I have ahead of him are better. He only averages 8 points a game and doesn't really impact the game in the same way that the people above him do. And this list and the Timberwolves record would be very different if D'Angelo Russell could stay healthy. Number 14, I have DeJounte Murray. I don't know much about him as a player, to be honest, but I just think that from what I've seen, there's better options out there than him. And I think that Lonnie Walker is just as good. And the Spurs aren't that bad this season, but I just think there's 13 better guys than DeJounte. Number 13, Patrick Beverley. His defensive impact is insane, but that's about it for me. Only averages 8 a game, just like Rubio, and Beverley isn't much of a playmaker. This list would be a lot different if they would start Lou Williams, but they don't, unfortunately, so that is why I have Beverley at number 13. At number 12, I have Lonzo Ball. He is a good defender, too, and he's also a good passer. This season, he averages a career high in points, but the Pelicans are not that good of place in standings. They have a nice young core, though, so they might be able to turn it around soon. And if they do, if Lonzo can keep improving, then he might be higher on this list in a couple of years. At 11, I have Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder has had a good first season on the Lakers. He takes the pressure off of Anthony Davis a lot, and he's been a good replacement to Rondo, who walked on them in free agency. His playmaking could improve, but he does average 15 points a game, which is solid for your starting point guard. Number 10, I have the injury man himself, John Wall. He's a solid leader, but the Rockets are just a losing team this season as they traded away a lot of their assets. And John Wall is just injury prone. He averages 21, but in my opinion, he just misses too much time, or else he would be ranked a little bit higher. At 9, I have Mike Conley. Mike Conley, in my opinion, has a worse skill set than the players ranked above him, but he also is a great leader with longevity. This season, he made his first All-Star appearance, despite averaging only 16 points. That might be one of the lowest for an All-Star point guard that I've seen. But he showed out in the three-point contest, almost beat Curry, who we'll get to later. But Conley is the starting point guard on the number 1 seed in the league, Jazz. He would be a lot higher if he was doing better, but Mitchell and Gobert are like the leaders of the team. At number 8, I have Shai Gilgeous. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a great passer, and he will be a lot higher on this list too in a couple years if he gets more help. The Thunder are just rebuilding, and Shai Gilgeous leads their team, averaging 24, but yeah, the Thunder are just the 11th seed, and he will be ranked higher when the Thunder can contend again. At 7, I have Ja Morant. Ja Morant gets posted by Bleacher Report a lot for making these like dunks that he doesn't even finish, but despite all that, he's very athletic and he's a good passer. He averages 20 this season and 8 assists, but he needs to improve his shooting a lot. He needs to get in the gym. He's shooting terrible from 3 this season, but that can improve, if you just hit the gym for one summer. At number 6, I have De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron is a great defender. He's quick and he knows how to score, but the common theme that I've been talking about is that these point guards aren't on good teams, and that is the same with De'Aaron Fox. The Kings just haven't really been contenders, and despite De'Aaron's 23-7, he can't lead them to a playoff spot. At number 5, we have bubble legend Jamal Murray. Great ball handler and good passer. He averages 22, which is second on the Nuggets behind Jokic. And yeah, he's just an all-around, he's a good combo guard converted to a point guard. And if he can play like he did in the bubble that one season, then the Nuggets can go places. At number 4, I have the greatest leader of all time, Chris Paul. He impacts the floor so much, which might not show up on the stat sheet, but he gets assists like I get. He averages 16 and 8. But that doesn't really tell the full story, as I guess numbers aren't everything. Yeah, the Suns looking to make a postseason run this year. They're the 2 seed as of the date I'm recording this. And yeah, Chris Paul is a major contribution to their success. At 3, or in the top 3 now, I have Damian Lillard. One of the best range shooters I've ever seen. He averages 30 points a game, but he got snubbed for the All-Star starter to one of the people that's above him here, which we'll get to in a second. But yeah, Lillard is he's an elite shooter, and he's an elite point guard in this league. At 2, I have Luka Doncic. Luka's only getting better from here. This is just the start. He gets triple doubles like it's nothing, and he makes his teammates a lot better. He averages 25 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds, which is great for your young guard. And if they can just get him a couple more pieces, then they might make a postseason run in the upcoming years. And at number 1, I have Javon Carter. Steph Curry. Best shooter of all time, great leader, and the best accolades on this list. He averages almost 30 per game this season, and he started in the All-Star game. And yeah, Curry's just Curry, man. Can't go against that.
Thank you all so much for watching the video. Let me know if you enjoyed the commentary and if there is anything you would change in our rankings. Be sure to like this video and subscribe. Have a great day. Peace out.